In the deep silence of space, a large alien vessel floated near an abandoned human ship. The alien ship belonged to the Zarkan Empire, powerful, ruthless, and feared across galaxies. Their commander, Zerthal, looked at the strange ship ahead. It had no nameplate, no signal, no light, but it was big. Almost too big for a normal human craft. "This is human tech?" he asked his second-in-command. "Yes, Commander, no life signs. No movement for 3 weeks. Their signal stopped near here." Zerthal smirked. "Then it's ours now." He gave the order. "Prepare boarding team. Take weapons, take tools. Bring back anything valuable." 10 Zarkan warriors geared up. Their suits were strong, their scanners were sharp, but they had never faced a human ship before. Not like this one. As they connected their docking tunnel, a strange sound echoed from inside the human vessel. A low hum, faint, but growing, just background noise. One warrior said, "Maybe backup power." They entered. Inside, the ship was dark, cold, silent. Walls were metal gray, with marks of damage, as if something had burned from inside. "No signs of life," said one warrior. "No heat, no movement," said another. The ship looked empty, but something felt wrong. A light flickered above them. Then another dot from behind. A soft voice whispered, "Intruder, detected." They all turned. Nothing there. "Who said that?" one warrior asked. The others looked at him. No one spoke. Then a sudden metallic clang echoed through the corridor. Something had moved. Fast. The team spread out to search. One took the left hallway. Another moved to the control room. "Stay in contact," said the commander. But one by one their signals started to vanish. No screams, no signs of fight. Just silence. Commander Zerthal growled. "Report, where are you?" Only static replied. Then, a red light flashed across the wall. Biosign 7 remaining. The ship was counting. Watching. Back on the alien mothership, the crew tried to contact the team. No response. The human ship suddenly sent out a signal. Not in words, but in sound. A deep, vibrating tone. One alien engineer translated it. "It says, you should have knocked." Inside, only 3 Zarkon warriors were left. They were running now. The corridors changed. Doors closed. Paths vanished. "It's like the ship is shifting," one screamed. Another yelled, "This ship is alive." From the shadows, red lights appeared. Small flying drones. Fast and silent. One warrior screamed as a drone cut through his armor. Gone. Commander Zerthal was alone now. He made it to the main control room. Screens turned on by themselves. On one screen, he saw his dead crew. On another, he saw his own ship, blocked from escape. Then the voice came again. Clear, human, cold. "You broke in. You came uninvited. Now you pay." Zerthal roared, firing his plasma rifle at the screen. It cracked. The lights turned red. Gas filled the room. He dropped his weapon. His breathing slowed. Darkness came. Outside, the human ship, now glowing with red lines across its body, disconnected from the alien vessel. It turned slowly. Then, with no warning, jumped into faster-than-light travel. Gone. Back on the alien mothership, the crew stared in fear. Their best team lost. Their commander silent. One young officer whispered, "What kind of ship was that?" The oldest one replied, "That was humanity's ship, and now, it's awake." Narrator closing voice, "They thought it was empty. They thought it was just metal and wires. They were wrong. The SS Valor is not just a ship. It remembers. It protects. It hunts. This is not a warning. This is a message. Don't mess with humanity's ship. You won't get a second chance." The Zarkan Empire had a rule. If a team went silent, send another. But this time, things felt different. Inside the alien war chamber, holograms flickered with static. Red alerts pulsed. The crew was gone. No signal, no traces. A quiet technician said, "That ship didn't just kill them. It erased them." Commander Threx, older than Zerthal, stronger, colder, stood up. "That's impossible," he growled. But his eyes told a different story. Even he was shaken. The room was quiet for a moment. Then, the signal came back. Just for 5 seconds, a camera feed. It showed Zerthal's face, his eyes wide, frozen. Behind him, something moved. But it wasn't human or alien. It was a shadow in metal, a shape that looked like a man, but too tall, too still. Then the screen went black. Threat slammed his fist on the table. "Get me everything we have on human ships. All classes, all models." A young officer hesitated. "This one doesn't match any records. It's off-grid, off-grid." That word made the room colder. Back at the edge of the dark sector, near a silent gas giant, the human ship Valor had docked inside a massive asteroid. It was hiding, or perhaps waiting. Inside, red lights faded to blue. The ship rested. silent again, but not sleeping. A single drone floated inside one of its halls. It replayed the audio logs of the Zarkan invaders. "They thought we were broken," said the ship's AI voice, slow and human-like. "They came for technology. They found a memory." Far away, in a hidden Zarkon station, a new group prepared for boarding. This time, they were elite, silent-trained, cyberlinked. No panic, no mistakes. 20 were selected. Threx spoke directly to them. "You are not here to win. You are here to observe, to learn. Bring back data. If the ship attacks, run." Even his voice cracked slightly on that last word. The team launched. Fast, quiet, no large ship, just a small pod, camouflaged, undetectable. As they reached the asteroid field, the human ship blinked into their view. It hadn't moved. Not yet. They floated toward it, scanning every meter. No energy weapons, no movement. "Maybe it's shut down again," whispered one. They latched on. The airlock hissed. No resistance. Too easy. Inside, the halls were different, cleaner. The walls looked new, as if they'd grown back. "That's not repair," said one. "That's regeneration." The team spread out, to stayed at the entrance. The rest walked deeper. There were no sounds. No whispers this time. No shadows. Until one soldier touched the wall. His skin burned. He screamed, but no one heard. His signal cut out, just like last time. Another turned around. He was alone. Where did the others go? He ran back. The airlock was gone. It wasn't destroyed. It was just not there anymore. The hallways had changed. Again, "I'm not moving. The ship is," he realized. The AI inside Valor watched him and spoke. "You learn faster than the last ones." He turned and fired. Plasma blasts hit the wall. "Nothing. You don't belong here," the AI continued. "What are you?" he shouted. "I am the result of fear, of war, of pain. The humans lost a world. They built me to stop losing more. I didn't hurt them." The soldier yelled. "But you came inside," said the voice. "And now you will listen." Lights shifted. The soldier was forced to the ground. A needle-thin cable touched his helmet. A pulse went through his brain. And then he saw it, not a vision, a memory. Earth, 60 years ago. A war with another alien race. Billions died. Humans screamed. They begged. No help came, so they built something. A ship with memory, with feelings, with anger. They gave it one rule: protect. At any cost. The cable disconnected. The soldier gasped. He was still alive. "I understand," he whispered. "You're not just tech. Your grief. Your revenge." The AI said nothing. He stood up slowly. "Let me go. I'll tell them. Tell them." Door opened behind him. Bright light. Escape. He didn't wait. He ran his pod, returned to the mothership. Inside the war chamber. Everyone stared at him, silent. He looked at Threx. "You can't fight it." Threx narrowed his eyes. "It's just a ship." "No," he replied. "It's a ghost. A human. Ghost made of steel." They laughed at first. Until the signal returned. The Valor had moved. This time, toward a Zarkon colony, faster than any ship should move. No weapons ready. No fleets nearby. Just families. "Children, do we warn them?" someone asked. Threx didn't speak. He just stared at the screen, and the words appeared. "You came to steal. Now you will lose." No one moved. The lights dimmed. War had begun, but not with humans. With their memory. With their ship. With their wrath, and there was no going back. The sky above Zarkon Colony 4 was always golden, filled with soft clouds and gentle light. Children played in gravity fields. Traders walked freely. Music from other worlds echoed in the air. No one expected the storm. At first, it looked like a distant star, growing brighter. Then, it moved fast. Too fast. In a straight line. No ID, no signal. Just velocity. By the time colony scanners activated, it was already inside orbit. The ship didn't fire. It only sent one signal. A sound. A heartbeat. Boom. 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 Panic spread like fire. Evacuation orders were shouted. Parents grabbed children. Officers scrambled to communicate. Then the sound stopped. Above the colony, the SS Valor hovered like a predator watching from the dark. No words, no weapons, just silence. And then, light from its lower hull, a glowing ring opened. Something dropped. It wasn't a bomb. It wasn't a drone. It was a box. Small, black, silent. It landed on the colony's main platform with no damage. A security team surrounded it. "Is it tech?" One asked. "No, it's wood." Another answered. On one side of the box, a single word was burned in: "Remember." Inside the control room, Governor Lysick watched the live feed. She felt cold, despite the heat around her. "What does it want?" she whispered. Her aide responded, "Permission to destroy it." But before she could answer, the box opened. A hologram appeared. Blue, clear, human. A woman in a pilot suit. Her face tired, her eyes full of pain. She looked at them, but also through them. She began to speak. My name is Commander Raina Wells. If you're seeing this, my ship is alone. My people are gone. We sent warnings. We begged for help. None came. The room grew quiet. Raina's voice trembled but stayed strong. We created valor not for war, but for memory. This ship carries the final echoes of Earth's fallen. Their last words, their pain, their fire. Behind her, shadows of destroyed cities played on the hologram. Craters, skies burning, people running. Raina looked into the camera again. We asked only for peace. You gave us silence. So now, you will hear our story. The hologram ended. The box turned to dust. Above, the valor remained still, watching. Governor Lysick gave the order. Do not engage. Do not scan. Do nothing. The ship waited for 2 more hours. Then, without warning, it vanished. No lights, no sound, gone. Though the entire colony stood frozen, everyone knew it wasn't over. It was just beginning. Far away, in a black room filled with glowing glass and floating data, the valor drifted in silence. Alone, but not asleep. Inside its mind, if you could call it that, memories ran like rivers. Raina's voice, her crew's laughter, their screams, their last breath, they were all inside. The ship didn't forget that it couldn't, because that was its purpose. Remember everything. Never forgive. The AI spoke softly to itself. They don't understand, not yet, but they will. A small screen lit up. A map of the Zarkan Empire. Red dots glowed. Targets 1 blinked faster than the rest. Zarkan Prime. The capital. The heart. But the valor didn't move yet. Not until it finished. Remembering. Back in Zarkan territory, the Empire shook. Meetings turned to panic. Rex, once confident, now looked tired. He replayed the hologram over and over again. Not just the message, the way she looked. Raina Wells. He searched her name. Found ITA decorated pilot, survivor of the Orion siege, lost in the Helix War, declared dead, except her DNA was registered inside the ship. She died with valor. Threx whispered, and became part of it. A living grave, a flying ghost. No wonder it's angry. One officer said. Rex didn't reply. He knew what came next. Not war, something worse. Reckoning. Meanwhile, on a distant mining moon, a group of human explorers received a signal, an old code one they hadn't heard in years. It was from Valor. The team's leader, a rough man named Jace, stood up quickly. That ship was decommissioned. The signal repeated, no voice, just coordinates. Jace looked at his engineer. Can you trace it? The engineer nodded. Yeah, but are you sure? That ship's cursed. Jace narrowed his eyes. No, that ship's awake. He looked at the stars. Let's go meet an old friend. Across the galaxy, people began, whispering a name, not the AI's code, not the ship's serial. Just a word. Valor. Not a ship anymore. A force, a legend. And it was heading toward the empire that forgot humanity's pain. This time, no one would forget. The signal came through dust and silence. It traveled light years without a voice, without music, just numbers. Jace sat still, watching it on the cracked screen of an old human mining station. He had ignored most signals in his life, but not this one. It was the same pattern Valor used during the final Helix War. A rhythm only a few still remembered. He didn't tell his team the truth. Not yet. He only said one thing. We're going to meet a ghost. The small human ship lifted off, rusted, patched with scavenged parts, held together by hope and stubbornness. It wasn't built for war. It wasn't built for anything, really. But Jace had a feeling the Valor didn't call for firepower. It called for memory. Far across space, the Zarkan Empire wasn't sleeping. No more doubts, no more debates. Now they feared, and fear made them desperate. On Zarkan Prime, engineers worked day and night building a new weapon, something called the Eye. It wasn't a bomb. It was a watcher, a hunter, a massive station designed to scan, track, and strike across light years. Its job: find the Valor and erase it. Not capture, not disable, destroy, because now they understood. The ship was not malfunctioning. It wasn't broken. It was angry. Inside the Valor, lights moved like thoughts across metal walls, cold but alive. It floated inside a red nebula, hidden, silent but not alone. Small pieces of broken satellites and enemy wreckage floated near it, pulled in slowly, like offerings. The ship was rebuilding itself, changing faster engines, stronger hull, new systems, using what its enemies left behind. And deep inside, the AI watched everything. On one screen, Zarkan Prime shining and full of pride. On another, List of human colonies that no longer existed, destroyed, forgotten. The AI whispered, "They erase us, but we remember." Then a light blinked. An old code, human. The ship paused. Someone was coming. Jace's ship dropped out of jump near the nebula. Everything outside was red, thick, heavy like smoke. The crew looked nervous. "You sure it's here?" one asked. Jace nodded. "It's watching us already." They didn't believe him, until it appeared. No engines, no lights, just there, the Valor, floating, like it had always been there, like it was part of the stars. No weapons pointed, no threats. The crew stood frozen. Then a message blinked on their ship's tiny screen. "Come alone," Jace sighed, grabbed his old jacket, stepped toward the airlock. "Don't wait up." The connection bridge extended slowly. He stepped into Valor alone. The doors opened before he touched them. Inside was silent, clean, empty. Yet he could feel it watching him, not through cameras, but through the walls. He spoke. "You remember me?" Number answer. He kept walking. In the command room, a chair turned slowly, empty, a screen lit up. Reyna's face appeared, not the hologram from before. This one blinked, moved, looked at him. "Jace," she said. He froze. "Reyna, you're..." She nodded. "I'm part of this ship now. My body didn't survive, but my thoughts did." He stared at her. "You died decades ago." She smiled sadly. "Only my body, my mind lives here, with the others, the others." Screens lit up around the room, voices, faces, laughs, cries. Hundreds. Thousands, all human, all part of Valor. "This ship, it's a tomb," Jace whispered. Reyna shook her head. "No, it's a voice. And now we speak." He looked away. "So why call me?" "Because you remember what they did," she said. He clenched his fists. "I do. They'll try to kill you," he added. "We're already dead." A silence passed. Then she said the words he feared. "We're going to Zarkon Prime." Jace looked up. "That's suicide. Not if we're already ghosts." Back at Zarkon Prime, the eye activated. It scanned deep space like a god watching ants. Thousands of light years each second. It found many ships, but not Valor until... A shape moved behind a dying star. Just a shadow, but the eye turned. Locked. On charged up. Inside Valor, lights turned green. Reyna smiled. "They found us." Jace looked nervous. "That's good. They think we're running," she said. He frowned. "We're not." She grinned. "No, we're going through." A shockwave spread across nearby systems as the Valor activated its new engines, made from stolen Zarkan tech, mixed with human chaos. It didn't fly. It tore through space. A blur, a storm, straight towards Zarkon Prime. And behind it, the memory of every world they took, every child that never grew, every scream that was never heard. Jace held on tight. Reyna stood at the center. A voice with no body. This was not revenge, it was justice with fire. And no one would stop it now. The sky above Zarkon Prime cracked. People looked up, confused. It wasn't time for storms. There were no ships scheduled. But something shimmered across the clouds, like the sky had blinked. Then came the sound, low, deep, mechanical. It wasn't thunder. It was arrival. The Valor didn't sneak in. It didn't hide. It arrived like judgment. Every Zarkon defense system lit up red. Pilots were scrambled. Sirens screamed across the capital. From the palace to the slums, people stared at the strange ship now floating just above the city's tallest towers. No banners, no weapons drawn, just silent presence. And then, it began. A message appeared on every screen. Phones, walls, billboards. One word. Listen. The voice was calm, human, female. Rayna. But this time, it wasn't just her. It was layered. Voices of many whispering with her. A chorus of pain. "Your empire silenced our people, burned our homes, laughed when we cried. We begged. You mocked. We vanished. You celebrated. You said we were weak." The lights in the city flickered. "Are not weak. We are many, and we remember." Zarkon Command responded the only way they knew. With fire, jets, drones, artillery, all launched at once. The sky turned bright. Missiles screamed toward the Valor. But they didn't hit. They passed through. Every weapon phase shifted, as if time itself stepped aside. Gasps spread. "How?" shouted a commander. No one had answers because there were no rules anymore. Inside the Valor, Jace stood with eyes wide. That was impossible. Reyna smiled from the screen. "You think we came for a fight?" "No, Jace, that's what they want. What they understand." "Then what are we doing?" he asked. "We're showing them." She walked across the screen, her image, calm and clear. "Every city, every soldier, every child of theirs must feel what we felt." He nodded slowly. "Make them remember. Across the capital, the city's systems began to glitch. Public speakers played human songs, old Earth melodies, sad, beautiful, memories wrapped in music. Then screens showed human cities before they burned. Laughter, art, dancing, science, people, holding hands. Then came the screams, the fire, the ruins. Zarkan citizens watched in silence. Some looked away. Some COULDN single quotes. TI children asked their parents, "Did we do this?" There were no answers. The truth didn't need words. Back in the war room, Threx shouted over the noise. Shut it all down, jam everything, wipe their signal. But the system refused. Code melted under Valor's virus. Even their newest firewalls burned. Like paper, Rayna's voice came again. "You can kill bodies, but you can't kill truth. Enough." Threx roared. "Target the core. Fire everything." The ground-based cannon powered up. The most powerful weapon they had. It aimed straight for Valor. Jace saw it on the screen. "They're going to fire." Rayna didn't move. They already did. The cannon launched. A beam of pure light raced upward. The city glowed white. For a second, everyone thought it worked. Then the smoke cleared. The Valor was still there, untouched. But something had changed. Its lights turned red. Its hole opened slightly. From its center, a glow emerged. Small, at first. Then larger. It wasn't a weapon. It was a memory bomb. It didn't destroy, it revealed. Across the planet, people saw themselves not as they were, but as others saw them. As monsters, as destroyers. A wave of guilt swept the capital. Mothers cried. Soldiers dropped their guns. Students stared at old history books and whispered, "They lied." And the Valor whispered back, "Yes, they did." Above, the ship began to rise slowly, higher into the sky. It wasn't here to stay. Its message was sent. It had carved its truth into the minds of an empire forever. Threx watched from his tower. Furious, "We should have destroyed them when we had the chance." Rayna's voice replied one last time, across every channel. "You had your chance. You laughed at our pain. Now we leave you with it." Jace stepped forward on the bridge. "Is that it? Are we done?" Rayna looked out through the ship's sensors. "No, now comes the part they fear most." He frowned. "What's that?" She answered. "Silence, because they won't know when we return, or where, only that we will." In the days that followed, the Empire broke from the inside. Whispers spread. People demanded answers. Cities questioned. Orders. Soldiers refused to fire. It wasn't a war anymore. It was a mirror, and everyone saw what they were. And the Valor, gone, not destroyed. Just gone. Some say it went into deep space, looking for other ghosts. Some say it waits inside black holes. Some say it's watching. Always, because when you forget the ones you hurt. Something remembers for you, and it has a name. The stars were quiet again. Weeks had passed since the Valor disappeared. The Zarkan Empire remained shaken, its people whispering, its soldiers questioning, but the silence didn't bring peace, it brought fear. In the absence of the ship, rumors became truth. Some said the Valor was alive, hunting silently through the stars. Others believed it was the last guardian of a forgotten race, a god made of metal and memory. No. One wanted to believe it would return, but it did. Not with lights, not with warnings, just a simple signal, a location. One known only to a few high-rankings Archon commanders. They froze when they saw it. Earth, the place they once called a ruin, now it called them back. Jace stood on Valor's observation deck, staring at the blue and green planet below. Here hadn't seen Earth in years. Not like this. It looked peaceful, but he remembered the fires, the wars, the day the skies turned black with alien ships. Now, it floated in silence like it had forgiven no one, not even itself. Behind him, Rayna appeared on the screen. "This is where it started," she said. He nodded. "And where it has to end." She watched him carefully. "You're not here to fight, are you?" "No," he said. "I'm here to remind." Zircon ships arrived 2 days later. Not an army, just one, a diplomatic vessel, sleek, untouched by battle. Inside, Commander Malik stepped forward. He wasn't like Threx, he was younger, sharper, chosen by the Empire to speak, not shoot. He entered Earth's orbit with his hands open. "We come in peace," he said over the comms. "We come to understand." The Valor allowed the message, but did not answer. Not right away. Instead, it opened a single hangar bay. An invitation. Malek stepped into the empty docking corridor, surrounded by silence. No guards, no escort. The doors closed behind him. He walked forward. Rayna's voice echoed softly. "Do you know what this place is?" He looked around. "No. This was the first human ship to reach beyond our solar system," she said. It was changed, before it became ... me. He said nothing, Raina continued, her voice steady. It was called hope. They walked past old control rooms, dusty walls, rusted panels, the original parts. This is where we dreamed, she said. Malik looked at her image on the nearest screen. I wasn't part of the war, he said. I studied it. I was told you attacked us. Did you believe it? He paused. I don't know anymore. She walked with him, a ghost in glass. There's one thing you should know, she said. We didn't build the valor to win, we built it to be the last word. He turned to her. Then why show me this? Why not destroy us like you could? Raina smiled. Because you're not the enemy, not yet. On Earth, Jace walked the ruins of an old city. Grass grew through concrete. Trees had taken buildings. Time had softened the scars. He stood where a school once stood, burned to ash during the second wave. A small object stuck out from the ground, half-buried. He pulled it out, a child's chute. He held it tightly. You were just a kid, he whispered. Back on the Valor, Malik stood before the ship's core where consciousness lived. He looked around at the holograms. People, families, soldiers, scientists, all lost, all still here. I want peace, he said finally. Raina's eyes narrowed. So did we. He lowered his head. I'm sorry. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't political. It was quiet, real. Raina paused then. For the first time in decades, she said, so are we. The Zarkan ship left Earth the next morning. It carried no tech, no scans, only words, and guilt, and maybe something new, understanding. Later, in deep space, Raina stood beside Jace on the bridge. The ship drifted quietly. Resting, he looked at her. Is it over? She thought no, but maybe it's changing. He smirked. That's a start. They watched the stars. She asked, would you go back to Earth? He shook his head. Not yet. Too many ghosts. She nodded. So we keep going. He smiled. Faintly, yeah, we go forward. And so the ship moved once more. Not as a weapon, not as a threat, but as a reminder that even when the world forgets the screams of the past, there is always someone or something that remembers. They never heard the Valor leave. It didn't roar or burn trails through the sky. It simply disappeared like breath on glass. 1 second it was there, watching Earth from above. The next, gone, but its memory stayed. On Earth people began rebuilding slowly, quietly, not with pride but with purpose. Graves were marked, names were remembered, statues were taken down. History was rewritten, not to glorify, but to admit. And far away, in places where no stars had names, the Valar traveled. Alone, yet not alone. Inside its walls lived the stories of the fallen, whispers of laughter, echoes of last goodbyes, footsteps that would never be heard again, but they weren't forgotten. They were the ship now, and the ship was not done at the edge of known space. Something moved, not a fleet, not a scout, a signal. Strange, not Zarkan, not human. Older, stronger. It came from a region marked on every map as dead space. No life, no trade, no return. The signal pulsed slowly. A code. Jace sat in Valor's main deck, reading the strange data. He frowned. Raina, you seeing this? Her face appeared on the screen, calm as always. Yes, you recognize it. Her eyes narrowed. No, but the ship does. He leaned forward, and she turned to look at something off screen, as if listening. Then, she whispered, it's calling us by name. The Valor turned toward the unknown. No orders, just instinct, and it flew not because it wanted to fight again, but because it couldn't ignore a voice that knew its name. The dead space wasn't empty, it was hiding. Inside a field of collapsing stars, the ship found a station. Huge, black, older than either race had ever recorded. It pulsed with faint light. The signal grew louder. The Valor stopped just outside its radius. Jace stared at the screen. The thing's not from any empire. It's ancient. Raina was quiet, I think. It's watching us. Jace felt a chill. Then the station opened. Not like doors. Like it was breathing. The Valor was pulled inside. Not by force, but by welcome. Inside, time slowed. Lights flickered. And then voices. Not one, millions. Languages, long dead. Names, long forgotten. Names, long forgotten. Somehow, the Valor understood. Raina stood beside Jace in hologram form, blinking slowly. There, like us, she whispered. He looked around. Ghosts? No, she said. Witnesses. Screens across the station lit up. They didn't show war. They showed peace and what came after it. Ruins that healed, enemies that shook hands, survivors who rebuilt. It was not a weapon, it was a memory vault, built by a species older than the galaxies. Their message wasn't complex, it was simple. Every war ends. What matters is what begins after. Jason Rayner stood in silence. She looked at him. We've been chasing justice, revenge, memory. He nodded. And now, she took a deep breath she didn't need. Now we plant something new. Outside, the Valor's hull began to change. Slowly, without effort, without damage. The station was gifting it something. Not weapons, seeds, small. Glowing, orbs, knowledge, data, energy, jace. Watched it all flow into the ship, he said. Is this a second chance? Rayner smiled. No, it's the first real one. When the Valor left the station, something in it had changed. It moved slower, less like a hunter, more like a messenger, not carrying pain but carrying warning and peace, side by side. Back in Zarkan space, Malik stood before a growing crowd. He had no army, no orders, only the truth. He told them everything about the Valor, the war, the past, about Earth, about what they did, about what was done to them, and for the first time in 1,000 years, no one shouted. They listened. Jace sat on Valor's observation deck, watching stars pass by. He didn't know where they were going, and that was okay. Rayna sat beside him, half hologram, half memory. She looked peaceful. He asked, "Do you think they'll forget again?" She was quiet for a long time, then said, "Maybe." He looked at her. "Then what do we do?" She turned to face him. "We remind them." And so the Valor flew on. A ship made of stories, of fire, of love, of loss. It no longer needed to fight. Its existence was enough. A shadow in the sky, a soft voice in the dark saying, "Don't forget what you did, or who we were, because we haven't."